We live, we live. Alrighty. How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Happy Thanksgiving Eve. For those that will be celebrating it. Johnny, what up? What up, my boy John? How we doing? Yeah. Give it a couple more seconds here and get rolling, but there's been some interesting trends over the past 24 hours or so. So I'm curious to see how this unfolds tomorrow. Very curious. Let's get let's start. So over the past 24 hours since we last went live last night, and we saw the pen. I knew I was forgetting something. Sorry, we can still talk about it. The pen always takes a second, though. Come on. Right here. So I'll take a second. But over the past 24 hours or so, we've been seeing a little bit more of an amplified, a little bit more of an upper level low developing right in this area, and we're seeing those waves or those height lines kick upstream a little bit sooner. So that would make my prediction of a low getting out to Jersey and then gaining latitude over Nantucket a little bit harder to do. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. And the pen tool is taking its sweet time here. Happy Turkey Day. Hope it snows. I hope for those that wish, as long as it's, you don't want to affect travel too much for people that are trying to, but I do love me some snow as well. So right here. Open. Come on. What are we doing? So yeah, that's kind of where we've been at over the past 24 hours. So we'll continue to monitor. I meant to pull up current radar for what we have. It's been filling in pretty nicely. It's been filling. Oh, you're in Vermont? That's cool. And there's the pen. Beautiful. Get back over here. I can't wait to get back to my old setup. It runs so much faster. Vermont should get good snow. What is going on? Here we go. So let's take a look at radar, what's happening right now. And then we'll I told you guys we do some kind of snow map. I'll kind of just draw on the screen kind of. That's what we'll do. We'll kind of makeshift the snow map here. This is where we stand with radar. Be a little bit aware. It's not as present here, but there is some bright banding going on. Come on. The Pen's always slow in the beginning. So we um, we have some bright banding present across some areas, meaning snow is melting higher in the atmosphere. So if we draw a vertical column of the atmosphere, there's snow falling from the top, and then it gets to a certain point. These, I don't know how you want to draw these, right? And then once it gets to a certain point, they start mixing. They start mixing. And then once it gets even lower, now at the surface, it's all rain once you get to the surface, because it's warmer at the surface, it's colder aloft, and it's melting, and the radar is picking up that melting going on, and that is why we see some radar echoes look stronger than others. Short stream. I just kind of go as it flows, whatever I want to, everything I can cover and talk about. But I'm glad you want me to make it shorter so you can watch everything. I went on a little bit earlier than I did last couple nights, so this is current radar. Currently is 11:30, and so we can see it's developing nicely, right? The question is, are we going to see? Um, Really, the question is, how much of this heavy forcing that's going to start developing, how much is that going to be able to bring the rain snow line down across northern, central Mass, northwest Connecticut, and places into um, eastern New York and northeastern PA. I think that's where the biggest question, and even central PA too. I still think central PA makes out pretty well here, but not as certain with places up here. And I have to give the models some respect. I can't fully just ignore them as much as I would love to, but I'm still going to lean a little bit on the southern end of solutions, whether or not in terms of where the low pressure pops off. I think it's still going to try to get to the gradient, but we'll see how that plays out. Kind of this is our current gradient right here that I'm kind of been looking at, and so I'll be curious, to see if that low wants to pop out and right along that gradient, and we'll see if that occurs. If not, then we're gonna see a pretty interior snowstorm, exclusively interior. It already is kind of, but more interior. So I kind of think I doubt we see middle ground. I think we kind of go either one of two ways. Where tomorrow we see snow. Let's pull up the name. I hate cold rain. I hate cold rain too. Cold rain, and if you're gonna rain, please be warm, and if you're gonna snow, just do it. I hate cold rain. Nothing more depressing than that. So we pull up here radar. I think this is where the question lies. Is there going to be enough? Is there going to be enough good enough mid-level dynamics, or is warm air going to take over too much? Right, because our boundary is getting amplified, and convection off of our boundary, warm air from it is driving a lot of this, and cold air comes in from the backside. There's a little bit out in front present, so that's what gives an opportunity for some people in this area um, to maybe get into some snow, but it's going to be really question mark. It's going to be a really big question mark, just to see if that happens, because you can see the low going across, or we have our low pressure system going across central Connecticut here and across central Rhode Island, across southeastern Mass, and diving up actually. But you'll notice, look what happens on all the models. This is present. As we go in time, look how that rain snow line starts to crash, right? our rain snow line is crashing. It doesn't, but it's holding. We're gaining latitude, meaning it's not progressing, and the rain snow line's coming tighter. Mid-level dynamics are taking over. More cold air is rushing in from the backside, with along gaining more latitude towards the cold air. Somewhat marginal cold air present up there. Maine gets walloped with big time snow. So that's kind of the pathway for this snowstorm. In terms of I mean, we take a look at the mid-level dynamics here, and those are even pretty far north, or more north than I thought they were. But I mean, those are some real strong mid-level dynamics, and this is kind of why this is your path right here to getting snow for elevated areas here. Look at the mid-level dynamics that take over. Boom, right? That'd be hard not to snow if your forcing is going to be that significant. Those are real strong mid-levels. So how the mid-level dynamics develop will be key across northern, western, north central Massachusetts. In terms of the rain snow line back here, and then in Pennsylvania, I'm still curious. It's a little bit disorganized, but you do have some mid-level energy too that moves through with some cold air present. I don't need the highlighted cursor. And then Pennsylvania kicks in. So even though on this NAM run, it's like just as interior kind of as the last one, basically, with where the low pressure is, notice the dynamics. In fact, it's almost further northeast, but you have stronger dynamics that can help increase the forcing and bring down cold air aloft and create dynamic cooling. I hate snow, but I do like the snow falling. It's an interesting take right there. Don't go to Twitter with that comment right there. They'll eat you up. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan. Look at different models. I really hate actually the tidbits for some reason doesn't do the rain snow line all that well. So we'll take a look through here some of these models, what it has. Just look at the P-type maps because we already have a good idea, and then match it up kind of with the mid-level dynamics that a lot of these model runs have, and then we'll throw together a makeshift snow map kind of. Just me drawing with the pen tool here, and really not that official. I'm hyping more than it is, but here. And then let's go to GFS, a little bit different. Really has the main time these mid-level dynamics that come offshore a little bit less present, even though the rain snow line still really this couldn't the whole time. And because it's not one fully consolidated area, that's why there's the mid-level dynamics are kind of strung out, but then consolidate as they move further north, because it's kind of the genesis period of a low pressure system that's gonna not rapidly intensify, but it's gonna get down. It's gonna strengthen a good amount, a good 10 to 15 millibars from if we go to 12 hours. When is this? 9 hours, whatever. It goes from 10:02, and then if we go 24 hours later, it's not even on the screen. It's moving out so fast. 986. So they've really intensified this. This was like low 990s to mid 990s just a couple days ago, and now consistently models getting down to the 980s and 990s. So it's a good, 15, 16 millibar, um, increase or a decrease in pressure. So this is kind of what goes on for Thursday, tomorrow, Thanksgiving, and then Friday it finishes up in Friday morning. The leftovers go into Maine, where they can cash in. Yeah, I didn't see can't do the go to the 18s a euro. Let's check out what's happening. Yeah, the thermal map on the euro is a mess here, so I didn't want to see that. I really just wanted to see the upper levels here and the mid levels. I lied. Let's go to just barely. Yeah, it has those mid level that NAM was advertising, but a little bit later on the euro on this, and then on the GFS. It's 1 hour increments, man. What to make of it? And then the GFS has it too. Again, it's just even farther north, making it difficult for places further across this area. Oh, I'm glad you guys love the streams. I love snow now. What's the vibe? We're talking about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about lake effect, and then we're going to talk about we're going to look at some of the models for, we check in every day, see what's, there's no drastic changes, but, a couple time periods I like in the longer range, medium to long range, and we kind of go from there. That's the vibe. And here's another thing I was fascinated by is the temperature gradients in some of these towns were fascinating when I was looking across the state. So if we can lock in. Here we go. So this will give it a little bit, so places that, you notice that are visibly colder, you know, it's a good indicator that they're going to be some snow, and then places that are indicator for probably not. Come on, just give me. So places that are, come on. Play nice. Here we go. Can we zoom in more? Here we go. So this is right where we're looking at the rain snow line. Kind of around this area, 30, and then you see a 36, right? You see 29s, right? 30s, 28, right? So look just, it just gives a good idea where the cold air is setting in already. Um, basically these areas are kind of out of it. Maybe a couple of towns up here in northern northeastern Mass can switch to some wet flakes for a little bit, but accumulating snow will likely be west of Middlesex County for the most part, besides up here into northwestern part of Middlesex County. So when we really break it down, and then the valley for the most part will be but again we see 28s, right? 29, so some of these places that are holding cold air better. Now, well, it's not hard to see that it will be able to come 12 hours from now, 12 to 15 hours from now. Can we get a face cam? No, you don't want to see my face. You don't want to see my face. And so then when we go to when we go here, we get to I want to get to some of these like these higher elevated areas. Kind of pin it out. We can go do this actually on the soundings. Actually, no, I don't. You guys would be intimidated. My face is too good looking. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'll go to GFS. We'll go to NAM. I just want to pick out some of these margins again, right? We looked at soundings last night and do the same thing kind of and figure out where exactly our rain snow line is gonna what some of these margins are, and if they're really tight margins, then I look at it as like mid-level dynamics can take over. I just want snow. Are we getting any snow in Springfield? Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. HRR. This was a pretty northern run. It already has a 994 that far north. I don't know if we're going to see that. Impressive. Let's get, yeah. This is what I want. Right here. Come on, give me the sounding. That's close. That's close, but because you're getting to 36 and you're going, so it's close to rain, but probably a wet, a non-accumulating snow, probably right there. Go back another one. Let's see. This is close. This is probably just north of Worcester. Let's go look here. This is close. It could be. Could be. Dynamic cooling can help prevent this warm tongue from going as far. Again, it's dependent on good dynamics, so it's possible. You know, some of these places farther south can maybe get into some snow for, 2 to 4 hours, maybe less, even an hour or two. But back here, right, cold air sets. You have more cold air. You're closer to your cold air source. Some good dynamics. Even here, this would be actually pretty close. But dynamic cooling, I'm assuming, taking over. If saw a lift here, and might be able to get a little bit cooler than what some of the temperatures are showing. Let's see, it's 12 inches in Scranton, PA. Oh, you were in Scranton? That's nice. BG election thoughts. I could care less about that right now. I'm so fascinated by the snowstorms. That's all you want to get, and that's all you need to get from me. I promise you. You don't need my political thoughts. I got terrible stuff. Political thoughts. Zero insight to help with that. When we go to yeah, so let's make a makeshift kind of I want to share it because I just want to be able to pick apart. The one total is no bueno for this one. I kind of like the HRR in NAM idea just because I'm gonna align more with the Southern Solutions. Again, I got no stake in this really for me, so I'm not getting any snow tomorrow. If I'm lucky, I can see one wet flake, and that would be amazing. Do they control the weather? That's not a political thought. That's not a political thought. It's a scientific thought. Nobody controls the weather except Mother Nature herself. We go here to upper dynamics. Or no. Surface. No, winter weather. What am I doing? That's why we don't get snow in southern New England. Yeah. Okay. And then, no. Just want to get an idea. I don't really look at the snow maps really at all when doing this stuff. I really only look at it on stream here. And that's just because I have to make the snow map. You can do QPF too, but when you got a snow line like this and Kachera, I like ratios. I'll probably go on the lower side for ratios. Probably a lot of like 6 to 8 to 1 ratios, and those higher elevations, 8 to 10 to 1 ratios. So let's make a makeshift. Let's make one. I like to look back and forth, so. Let's see. They sent hurricane. I'm gonna deport. Yeah, I'm deporting everybody I don't like in the chat for sure. Deporting you to direct weather. That's where I'm gonna deport you guys to. You know, Patriot Sun, that's one of the more insightful comment. No offense to be in the chat whatsoever. Now I'm insulting you guys, which it's the best thing you can do with your audience. But it's a good point. We'll talk about that coming up. But let me get to where was I trying to go? Oh, here. Actually, I want to see RGM first. Just check in. And then we'll make this makeshift snow map for tomorrow. And then we'll look at lake effect. I really haven't looked at any soundings for lake effect, so we'll kind of be doing it together as we go with this. Let me get to 12. Let's see. This is 12Z. Come on. Come on, son. Let's go. Why does lake effect always get snow and not me? Because you probably don't live by a lake, if I had to guess. 4 to 6 feet off. Oh, Buffalo Snow King. What's up, my guy? How we doing? I'm gonna break down the lake effect right after. I'm excited to see your footage. I'm excited to see your footage. You know, I'm probably gonna be traveling across New York State, so I might get to see some of the lake effects this weekend. So I might get to see some of the lake effect bands. So I'll be excited for that. Yeah, I'd maybe drop it a little bit south, but I kind of like the RGM depiction here for how this goes. I think it's bringing it a little bit too far northeast potentially. Again, I might be like I'm stuck in two different scenarios. One where we completely blow this thing wide open, and you know, we just really pull up so much warm air that we don't get this done. That's kind of the RGM to extreme. But I like what it does with it does a really good job at snowfall depiction. I live in Central. It's because you don't have a lake by you. That's why you don't get. You gotta have you gotta have. All right, there's lakes. If you guys are curious, I did do a lake effects storm chase last year. And on the stream, if you want to look at it, it's like a 12-minute video or whatever. It's me here up here off Lake Ontario, where it was like 13 inches of snow in like 8 9 hours or something, 10 hours. So it wasn't even thunder snow, and it was pretty impressive. Um, so I did do a lake. RGM is right the Buffalo Wild Wings. Now we'll take a look at that right after this, the lake effect. So let's do a makeshift kind of. I like RGM NAM kind of combo. Um, part of me wants to go in the lower end because I'm really um, it could be also a cold air wins out in the beginning, mid-level dynamics help win out, and then warm air surges and makes it difficult. So I'm kind of torn. So let's kind of just makeshift this. Start here closest to home for me. We'll say like is like a this is a rough too. So don't get too caught. Let's kind of draw it out here a little bit, something like that. I still like to be as accurate as I can with this. So and the RGM's kind of farthest north, so I'm kind of using that as a baseline guide. Kind of is Concord getting snow? Um, it might be close. I'm gonna say yes, you get snow, but I don't know about accumulating. I lean kind of closer to like 1 to 3 inches for Concord. All right, we're just gonna make this kind of rough. We'll go like coding to 2, and then now we can kind of makeshift this more. I mean, it will be a tight gradient probably here, so this is no, because I'm going to screenshot this after and post it on X probably. I don't like even doing that. This is so tight. Let me get pen size. 3 inches is a lot to some people. That's the second time you said that. You're right, it is. Let's go here. It's going to be a little messy. I'll stop it. There you go. And then we'll say Burks get into it. Again, it's just rough. This is like all Burks, so it's hard to draw the terrain without knowing everything. And then we'll kind of say like a 1 to 4. I don't want it there though. Like a 1 to 4 kind of. And then we'll go take another look. Okay. I'm gonna underdone PA. I don't like that. I don't like what I did to PA. Son of a. And then, sorry, I'm not looking at chat. I'm trying to be precise here for you guys. That's not going to be accurate either. I'm just going to erase that because I don't like that. Whatever. I don't do Western PA usually, so too bad. I don't even like that too much, but so I think PA is going to do well. I would really bring this further south, but live with it. We'll live with it. You got funny people. Yeah, we always got funny people. We got a great base of people for sure. And then we'll go. Something like that. And then I think there'll be a pocket in here too. Of 6 to 12. Same with here. Rough. You can tell by how I'm drawing the words rough. I always hate doing something like this where I'm like half precise, half not, but I didn't do one last storm, and I don't have my snow map software with me on Photoshop, so take one. Let's look here. Yeah, that's not. Oh, it should be pretty expansive. Maybe some of the warm air off the lake prevents some of those areas from cashing in, but yeah, this is all kind of coding to 2. And then up here is kind of, I think, a bunch of there'll be good amounts up here. Elevated areas up here will do well, but I want to see what the highest bidder has as well. I wish I had 10 inches of snow. We all do. We all do. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2 to 5 up there. screenshot it, whatever. That's what I'm gonna go with. Winds weather, dang, for me, I'm 20 miles in, right on the interior. Yeah, winds weather. I think you might be close. I forget where exactly you are. I don't know if you're kind of by Lewiston, maybe that's where I kind of assumed. I forget where you're at, but I think that's kind of where I lean to. Um, I think this little notch here, I think just right off the ocean. I struggle to see this doing pretty well, but this could kind of collapse a little bit. It's going to be a real thin margin, I think, with those dynamics. It's really whoever's just north of the best dynamics is going to make out the best. That's the reality, because even if you're cold enough on the other side, you subsidence wet snow accumulation. So really, really a lot of these places, along the coast, who aren't in the heavy snow are going to really struggle to accumulate all along here. So the reason here can do better than the coast is because maybe you get some snow on the backside. That's late tomorrow night and early morning, so you'll be colder, and you can get some lighter snow on the backside to get the same or more. But I just run into the problem. There's just going to be potential for good forcing across this area, and so that's why I like this rough estimate for the area. Just north of Lewiston's even better. All right, you guys want to dive into some lake effect or what? Let's do it. So we have record warm lake effect lake temperatures right now, at least in Lake Erie. I saw 54 degrees today. And I forget my lake effect. My lake effect knowledge. What was it? Regardless, that's where it really comes down to the gradient from the lake to is it 850? I think so. I think 850. God, I gotta should have studied my lake effect meteorology knowledge again. But so let's look at the semantic setup before we get into all the details. Snow makes me happy too. You know what? That's a great take. That's a great take right there. Yeah, south. There's gonna be several feet of downwind on the lakes. Yes. I thought you were gonna say the wind off the ocean was gonna be troublesome for you in Maine, but I would have agreed. So if we go to, doesn't really matter what we go to this. Actually, I want higher resolution, so that's what we're gonna go with. So here's right. Let's go back to the basic setup. Here's this upper level low developing with our low pressure system off of that. Let's go back to the thicker one. And so this develops, right? Low pressure system. And then here's our upper level low. And this was the cold air on the backside. Now we couldn't get the emplacement to be good enough so that we could thread the needle for a big accumulating snow event for just northwest of I-95. So that's something we couldn't do with the Thxgiving snowstorm. Now, with the lake effect, it's just verbatim. We have upper level and mid level energy that still needs to come through, and so this is going to move over the lakes. Sorry, and then we'll see this. Right, so we'll see this wind come off the lakes, and it'll be pretty strong too, and it's going to allow significant. I think that's right, yeah, significant lake effect bands, and the stronger the wind, the farther inland these bands are going to make it. So we're going to even see lake effect associated snow squalls all across this region, across Saturday, I think. And so I'll be curious to see kind of how that plays out. But so right as we move through, and then it's going to start real soon after the storm moves through. We get cranking Friday morning, and let's see, we go here to 700. All right, so you can see the mid-level energy that still needs to move through as well, the upper level vorticity that still needs to move through, and then the low level dynamics too as well, right? You can kind of almost pinpoint where those bands set up with this um, as this moves through the low level vorticity, right? Because we really get lake effect to get cooking from the lakes, literally. It's lake effect snow, right? It's the gradient of being above freezing on the lakes, along with colder temperature in the upper levels, is allowing um, for us to create this thermal clash, and that allows us to be able to get significant lake effect snowbanning. You love sleeping in snow? I doubt that you have before, just given the chances of hypothermia. But hey, if you say it, I believe it. You got to believe everything you see, always, no matter what. People a little too excited by the snow, it appears. But so as we progress, let's get into some soundings. So yeah, we're going to be also doing. So since we're going to be basically done with this storm tomorrow night for the most part, probably try to do it on the earlier side because I'll have to get up early Friday. But we'll stream at some point tomorrow night. We'll do lake effect coverage, and then we'll definitely I don't know, we'll see how the schedule works, but we're gonna cover it. We'll do more streams with the lake effect. And then so let's take a look at some of these bands so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Beautiful. So here's on Lake Ontario, right? So this is by Tug Hill. Right. Notice how much lower. See, or how much. The reason why lake effect you do so well is you have such cold upper level air. Oftentimes it moves through. This is cold. This is cold, plenty cold enough. Upper level um, cold air, and it really sinks down. Really sinks down. You notice how on these other snow soundings it was more vertical, right? It's almost like a severe weather sounding. You even have like an EML, elevated mixed layer here, which you would see with severe weather. And notice how diagonal is the best way I can phrase it. We're going right because this is down to the surface. This is a vertical column of the atmosphere, right? This isn't a diagonal column. It's reading the temperature profile from how it goes from the top to the bottom of the atmosphere. And notice how quickly we warm, right? How quickly we go from cold to warm. And it's not warm, right? It only gets 32 degrees, but it's the gradient, right? The gradient we talked about. So we go from our dendritic growth zone super low in the atmosphere, right? It's about almost 680 maybe millibars, down to minus 10, which is our dendritic growth zone, which is from minus 20 to minus 10. Our dendritic growth zone is where snowfall flake production happens, right? This is where it's the most important part of the atmosphere to see snow. And so that this defines, the quality of the snowflake, and how well it can accumulate snow ratios, especially. Um, So chat decides. So we can kind of identify where our dendritic growth zone is here. And so this is where snowfall production happens. So we see we're well saturated, and we're also, I mean, plenty cold enough too. Plenty cold enough. The lower in the atmosphere your DGZ is, dendritic growth zone. That's where you look for better snowfall ratios. Right, the colder your snow is, the more the higher you can accumulate. So even though we're 32 here at the surface, we're plenty cold enough in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We have a really good, it's not like we're super cold up here in the very upper levels of the atmosphere. It can be, I've seen colder before for lake effect, but it's how quickly from five, it really sinks down the cold air pretty well. And so, we're actually colder up here, than we are at, like 200 millibars in the atmosphere, from 3 to 400 millibars. So really fascinating stuff. We have some CAPE present here, convective available potential energy, which we often see with thunderstorms, and that allows you to get potentially thunder snow, which we have an elevated mix layer, and we have um, uh, very sharp thermal gradient in the from 500 to the surface. Right, it's classic convective snow sounding. And then we look at lift. Right, typically -1 to -2 is really heavy snow, and yeah, -6 is going to get the job done. That's very heavy snow. It's indicative of strong lift. Right, it's measuring how much lift is in the atmosphere, and very strong lift. Right, we just take a look here from 700. If we get away from we look at the thermals down to the surface, we go from about 700. We go from -20 to 0 degrees. We have a 20-degree um, Celsius thermal gradient from 700 to 0, which is very significant. Let's see. Yeah, of course. Yeah, John knows how to operate the chat here. He knows how to handle it. Let's see. Yeah, I do in Northeast PA near Philly get lake snow all the time. Um, get the pond snow. Um, Wait, I live near a big lake 1 mile. Yeah, it's possible. You could try cloud seeding the snow. Give that a shot. See what happens there. And then we go to Lake Erie. So that was Tug Hill, a little bit further north. We go to Lake Erie here, and we notice, right, very similar. This is yeah, very similar, profile. Again, very cold, 500. Dendritic growth zone is actually even lower here. I'm pretty sure, assuming I read that right. And we get down to boom, right there's our dendritic growth zone from 7 to 850. And again, we have a strong we have a strong our thermal gradient's actually even sharper on the Tug Hill one, which might produce more convective snow. A little bit colder here in the atmosphere, so maybe slightly better snow ratios, but again, marginal differences. You see the CAPE number showing up, suggest supporting even more the profile for convective snow, which it is. Potential for thunder snow. I would almost guarantee there'll be thunder snow with this setup. Again, it's a multi-day setup too. So we look at the timing after this moves through. Those lake effect bands are going to start actually tomorrow. They're going to start, and then we'll see streamers start to really consolidate um, Friday morning. No, you can do a makeshift cloud seed. You can put a, I forget what, you can like dry ice a balloon. You can try it if you want. I'm sure you'll get significant success because lots of people have created their own snowstorms before. So you can give it a shot. Get back to me. So and then we still see we have more upper level energy that needs to move through here on Saturday, right? Still have upper level energy that needs to get out of here, and more importantly, mid level, I believe, which will go to the NAM 12K4. Indeed, we do. Right, as long as there's right, and as long as right, we're moving all of this energy across here, right? We still have wind, to help, get these bands on. We're gonna keep snowing, which we do. Boom, boom. So we're gonna continue to. Yeah, guys, you can 100% make your own snowstorm. 100%. I would do it every day. I thought you didn't like the snow. You just liked it falling. Also, maybe you just want to see it. Okay. Let me go to. Let's get some more soundings. So one thing too, I'm curious to see is location of the lake effect bands. Um, I would lean farther south. They always tend to. They always tend to drop further south than modeled. So I would go 5 to 15 miles south of um, wherever it sets up. I would consistently lean. Um, just with the lakes being, oftentimes we tend to see those bands makeshift a little bit further south than what gets depicted. So let's go to continue to look at because it's a multi-day. It's like 3 days basically. I think at least, and there'll be lots of lake effect opportunities in the upcoming pattern as well. So this won't be the end of it, but we'll do GFS just for now as the Euro is loading out. We can do that from here actually. So pivotal's slower. Go to regions. We'll go to Canis. And that's the HR. Again, I appreciate you all in the chat right now. Appreciate everybody that's liked the stream as well. Let's keep doing that. The BGWX expansion is happening this winter on YouTube. What happened on this? All right, it's like some interesting stuff, but we'll get there. So all this upper level energy that still needs to work through. So we'd be theoretically this could be a long lake effect event. Just because we talked about how messy we were in the upper levels, there's just a lot of lake effect snow. There's just a lot of mid and upper level energy needs to move through, and then you might stop, and then you're still above those lakes, and you got more to come. And that's a clipper system down the road, and all that fun stuff. Woo! It's brought that thing back again. So I guess there was something interesting. I was right. Just a guess. Just a guess. Hate seeing it. I love seeing the snow on the ground. You really hate it. I love seeing the snow on the ground. For me, that's from like I have such like a woodsy landscape. Just in Massachusetts in general, there's a lot of trees, and when you see the snow on the trees, I think right after a snowstorm, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. Seeing like a foot of snow that fell on the trees. But but back to my point is with like a lot, right? That's our Canadian snowstorm that moved through yesterday. This parks camp basically the upper level energy, and right, you get this westerly flow that continues. Excuse me, and we just continue. We continue to produce off the lakes, and if we go to down the road on Saturday, and those bands will shift and waffle back and forth, but I think Tug Hill really gets cooking. Just based on what models here, gets cooking faster a little bit, and then Lake Erie machine produces. It could be even underestimating. It may not look like a lot, but if we took a sounding here, actually, really radar is better to do. Um, it would look much better. Like modeling does such a poor job sometimes showing like what's really going on. That's a pretty solid lake effects down in here. How cold you are at this point, right? So maybe less potential for thunder snow here, but still like just very productive. Upper levels are cold. Look where your dendritic growth zone starts below 700 millibars, and then goes all the way down to almost 900, almost 900. So this was what makes it really impressive. So I think it's going to be a long multi-day event. Almost, you might get a little bit of a break, but then you get back to it, and you have just more energy that needs to work through. So this is going to be a long stretch of potentially lake effect bands. I mean, we could be talking triple digits for some areas, all said and done. We really could be talking triple digits for some people, especially Tug Hill off Lake Ontario. We like widespread 3 to 6 feet of snow for whoever's in the band, and then within that band, whoever's you know able to tack on as much as possible. You might get to, and especially some of those elevated areas too, you might get 80 to 90 inches plus of snow. Restream is live. I am live, right? I'm not skip. I used to say Restream because that's the what I it's Restream is a streaming technology used so I can stream. You guys do know I've been chatting with you this whole time. How could I know what you were going to say in the chat and then communicate? I'm not that bright. Sometimes you guys scare me. I love you guys with my base here, but you do scare me sometimes. And so yeah. So that's kind of the lake effect breakdown. I'd favor Tug Hill for a little bit more totals wise, but your Lake Erie is going to do just fine if you want it. I would favor just south of Buffalo on Lake Erie, and then I would go to and then I would go to um, yeah. So just really some of those south towns. Um, like it could be like well south too. It could be like 15, 20 miles at least south of Buffalo, where the max is. Right, so Erie gets cooking. I mean, yeah, perfect. That's a solid lake effect snow sounding right here. Also, guys, um, here's the time and the date. You can see it moving. I don't know why you'd be worried that I'm not streaming live. So yeah, so let's take a look. We covered some of the lake effect stuff now. We can look at actually, if you want. Um, it's covered again. Again, I can't appreciate you guys enough for coming in here. Just awesome. Thank you. Keep liking the stream. Let's keep expanding here. Let's go to NWS. I mean, these snow maps are crazy. I mean, even though it's like they'll always go conservative on these two for the most part. You see that, right? And the tricky part with Buffalo too is, and I kind of highlight the uncertainty. If you get a band that is able to sit for a few hours, you could easily get like eight to 10 inches of snow in that short period of time. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out. Or if Buffalo, you might just get some periodic light bands that move through quickly, and Buffalo only ends up then with like 1 to 3 or 3 to 6 inches of snow. Right? Continue to favor further south. Continue to favor further south. With where the heaviest snow sets up. No, they don't have it. Didn't I retweet it? Let's see if he posted. No. These are great sources for live lake effect updates too. These people live obviously here. Yes, we were just talking about this. The thermal, the importance of the thermals in place with lake effect. Here's talking about average water temperature is 54 degrees, just impressive. Here, this was it. This is just through 7 a.m. Monday, and this is probably lowballing it, to be honest, for Tug Hill. 3 to 4 feet. 3 to 4 feet. That's just the average. That's their expected forecast. So this is an impressive snowfall map. Yeah, I've seen these before, usually at least once a year, but it's always impressive. I did it, my lake effect. I was here in Pulaski. That's where I was. Let's go to, actually, I'll show you that. And this wasn't even crazy lake effect. This was, I mean, it was impressive, but still. Guys, I'm streaming live. I've streamed live every single time on here, basically. Let me go to view your channel. See, look, live, streaming live, right here. You clicked on a live video, believe it or not. Not melt any different than regular snow. Yeah, this was my lake effect chase from last year, and I uploaded this video not too long ago. So just gives you a little perspective. This was the snow moving into where I was, right, the main Tug Hill area, right off Lake Ontario, and so yeah. Let's see if we can find some of those blizzard conditions. Well, you see that right there, heavy tideway snow. It does not melt different. To answer your question, you can get the, and this is what it kind of looked like in the daytime. It was a good like foot 12, 13 inches when I left. They probably ended up with um, 16 to 20 plus. So it was a cool event for sure. That was my first major lake effect that I chased. I guess I wouldn't say major, but significant for sure. Okay, let's take a look at the long range because I'm becoming increasingly intrigued. Yes, the 3 to 4 feet. In fact, it probably um, even condenses. So the higher the ratio of the snow, and with wet snow as well. 10 to 1 ratio means it will stay the most compact because the liquid ratio was most equivalent to as if it rained. Raining is the average is 10 to 1, but with with lake effect snow, it's a little bit different because you have such high you have such high ratios that it makes it so that it will compact sooner, but it accumulates so much that you don't notice it too much because the snow piles are so high. So that's why technically when you measure snow, um, you know, 6 to 8 hour increments, 12-hour increments. A lot of people just wait until the storm's over, but a lot of times it compacts. So it's actually not an accurate snowfall measurement. Some people will say, I don't like to do that, but it's kind of up to them. But yeah, you can measure as soon as every 6 hours to get a full total to measure snowfall. Why did I leave? Because I had to. I, yeah, I had things to do. How did I not get my car stuck? They plowed. They plowed the parking lot I was in, and they plowed the roads. They do a great job. I couldn't have. I really, that was one of the best. They're well prepared up there. Well prepared. It's pretty rural up there too. They do an amazing job up there on I think it's I-80 something. Oh, I-80, I think. I took the video off, so But yeah, I enjoyed it. I would 100% do it again. Okay, but now let's you know, you can keep throwing in lake effect questions and stuff if you have them, but let's talk about the long range just for a little bit, and then we'll call it. I want the GFS. So used with these two time frames right here. This one's super intriguing to me still. Um, Great source of cold air, right, off of a lobe of the polar vortex, right, stretching. Um, and then you get an upper level low to develop off of this. The sooner that upper level low develops, the better. Really, with everything right now. That's basically the case for everything, for all these. These are kind of a lost cause. I still think this could produce potentially some mid-Atlantic and southern snow. There's a lot of, you just need a little bit of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and some of these higher terrain areas especially um, can help. You know, we could see some enhancement there potentially. We could see some enhancement there. So I would keep an eye on this. They've gotten a little too dry. Not a ton of convection present. You can see it's pretty dry, but you see as it moves through, there's a little bit, you see in some of those higher terrains, a little bit of light snow that moves through. So, you know, I just in general on this area for some light snow potential. Um, and even that's a little bit earlier too. Just late. Is that? Yeah, I guess that's Sunday, December 1st. Sunday, Monday, I'd keep an eye on that, and then after, right? Because you do get the low pressure system to develop eventually off of this at some point, some version of another. And really, if you just do this a little bit sooner, then you start getting some precip here. And then you get a potential for just a little bit of light snow for people that don't usually see a ton of snow. So I think that's why it's important. Well, thanks for stopping by, FNDA. Appreciate it. What is the earliest time for snow time frame? I would say this time frame right here. December 4th and 5th. Right here. Keep an eye on this one. Because if you develop this upper level low sooner here, right, you got a trough to develop, and you can see we're about neutral. We're about neutral. And at this point, if you go negative with the upper level low here instead, yeah, we're about neutral. If you go negative, you can get you struggle further back west, but you can get a snowstorm in here across eastern New England. And then you get light snow regardless, just as it moves across. It's like a classic clipper system, but if you slow it down more, you get some inverted trough potential. Again, this is way down the line, but models have been actually fairly consistent with just the overall pattern for the last few days now. And so I'd keep an eye on this time frame here for a lot of people's first accumulating snow potential, December 4th to December 5th. And then after December 7th to 9th, kind of somewhere in that time frame, and maybe another one after if that one misses. A lot of models are starting to hint more at this pattern starting. There's something's going to drop down after that clipper system, and it's really far out, so it's hard to say for sure. But you know, if we look at these, a lot of these GFS, and you continue to have cold air in place. That's the thing. My friend goes to school in Western Virginia. Do they have weather? Do they have different weather than us, or they get snow, or too far south? No, they get snow. Absolutely, especially Western Virginia. Absolutely, Virginia Tech, Blacksburg. They absolutely get snow here in this region. They get more snow actually than anywhere else. Maybe Northern Virginia is an exception. In fact, they probably had snow, maybe these higher elevations, um, last week or earlier. Yeah, last week. Last week, all across here, West Virginia, um, Western Virginia. Here, there was all in this area. There's a widespread, like 8 to 14 inches for a lot of people. So this is the time frame I keep coming back to though for our first potential widespread big snowstorm that will have cold air present. And I'm not going into specifics at all. This is no need. This is, like 10 plus days out. But this time frame right here, December 7th to December 9th. I said we check in at the end of the week, and then maybe we can start. Let's see, what would December? You can look at it. Why not? Doesn't matter. It's not going to happen exactly like that. All right, you have your high pressure here, and you have cold air in place. You have cold air locked in. So, right, even though this upper level energy comes this far, it has to go out. And so you get a widespread snow event. So that's the upside here with some of these is you get maybe a transfer event. Maybe if you're lucky, you can get a Miller A, something that drops down and kind of comes off the coast. And it's kind of yet to be seen how this is going to play out. But you see how cold air. The thing I like to look at a lot of times is, do I see mix? Do I see mix on the P-type map? If I see mix on the P-type map, that means we have much better cold air in place. We have good cold air in place. If we're just raining snow, it's oftentimes marginal temperatures when we see that happen. How does everyone get snow? VA in the south. No snow there. That's not true. Virginia absolutely sees snow. You know who else sees snow every year too is Georgia. These mountains here, they see snow, some sort of snow pretty much every year for the most part, at least light snow event. Same with some of these really high South Carolina elevations, North Carolina, same thing. Arizona, lots of high elevation out here, they see snow. So elevation can play a big factor, right? You have the Appalachian Mountains that run all the way down through here. It's not fair. It never is. Life isn't fair. So yeah, I continue. You can see what the euro did. Let's go to Canis. And we'll take a look at 500 heights right after, and then answer whatever questions you guys have left. So let's go to we're already there. Euro. Still low down a little bit. I would like to see what it does in the longer range a little bit. I would like to see some of that. Would like to see what it did here too. Actually, I just want to see quickly what it did for mid-levels for tomorrow. I was in high school at one point. like everybody. A little messy, doesn't, but it's there. It's a later development of the mid-level dynamics again, kind of similar to the GFS for tomorrow. How does Georgia and South Carolina get snow but not Rhode Island? Elevation. Simple as that. Elevation plays a huge factor. Rhode Island's all pretty much lowly elevated besides the northern part here, where there's some elevations like 1,000 feet, I think, close. And they make out. Simple as that. And again, I forgot to mention here, maybe on the backside. Maybe on the backside, if there's enough precip, there'll be enough upper level energy. If there's enough moisture to work back, you can maybe get some light snow or light wintry mix tomorrow night on the backside. So yeah, Euro's pretty Euro's pretty skeptical that Euro's here with the rain snow line. I dropped it just a little bit, so we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Did I drop out? Yeah, I dropped out just for you guys. I'm long. What elevation does it start to make a difference? It really depends on the event. It really depends on the event. To answer your question, all right. I mean, how many times can you count a snowstorm that's happened here for these areas, and it didn't happen for elevated areas out here? It didn't have anything to do with elevation. It had everything to do with the setup. And with the last setup, we noticed elevation played a really big factor, right? Once you start getting oftentimes like 700-800 feet can start to make a little bit of a difference. Sometimes it can make a major difference where the margins had a March blizzard 2 years ago, 2 winters ago. And I kind of sold the forecast. It was such a good high ceiling setup, and it ended up being such a high ceiling setup that I was about 10 miles off. I was about 10 miles off. Not only my location for snow, but just in general. And it made all the difference. It made all the difference. A few hundred feet made all the difference. A foot of snow here, like 24 to 36 inches of snow here. And most of these places up here are at least 600 to 800 feet elevated, and plenty are like 1,000 to 2,000 feet elevated. And I was devastated that I messed up. I brought it down. I thought I was going to get down to here, and it didn't. It didn't. I can pull that up. March 2023. Snowstorm totals. You can see it right here. 32 inches of snow. 4 inches. I think that was me right there. That might have been my snowfall report right there. Look at this gradient. This is about 10 miles, 15 miles. It's 13 inches of snow. You had a over 2 foot gradient of snow, right? You can go 28-inch gradient of snow across about 25 miles. And it all had to do, it was partial, it was kind of the setup as well. The setup played a factor, but elevation and just was crucial. It was crucial. I remember driving home from around here, it was snowing, and then when I got back to my spot, um, yeah, I'm one town east over of Worcester, southeast. And I remember driving back, and it was snowing here. There was already like a half inch and an inch, and I got to here, nothing. It was rain. There was like a foot of snow here. There was nothing. There were 4 inches there. So it made all the difference with that one. See if I can get up a better. Was it this one? I mean, that was pretty early on. So yeah, that was critical. That was an annoying. What did you miss on the storm? Warm air. Warm air went out. As simple as that. Simple as that. Warm air went out. There's me. Here's over 3 feet of snow here, up here. Sometimes you just miss out. Like cancel school and got no. Yeah, I mean, just how it works. Sometimes your margins can be super slim, and that's another one. Elevation made a difference, right? It was rain, snow. It wasn't sleet, rain, snow. So yeah. Let's see. Let's expand it out again. Let's look at here in the upper levels. To the medium and long range. And then we'll look at 500 height anomaly, and then we'll wrap it up. So that's even close. Not. I've seen crazier stuff happen before, but it's still just too shunted off, right? This is where your snowstorm happened right here, and it's probably kind of raining too. But then this clipper's just, and maybe it's enough, just maybe. It's kind of messy on this actually, but it's there. One variation or another. This would probably be a good lake effect setup again, if you ask me. Indeed, it is. But you can see that the Euro's got it too, right? This time frame right here, December 4th and 5th, bookmark it for your first accumulation. Not a guarantee, but I try to push myself. I like to. Nobody likes to mess up a forecast, so I like to go in depth on everything that can happen and relay the scenarios, and then try to see after I've done all of that, and then we get to the day of the event or the day before, and a forecast for what's going to happen. The reason I don't put out multiple snowfall maps out in advance is because I'm going to make one map, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it, and it's going to be. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to make it. And you can see even that I put up the makeshift, and you saw me like mess with it like 6 times at least. So if we expand out, kind of want to play this through. Is there anything else? That'd be interesting. For level low, hour 384, so it doesn't matter. But I like to see if there's any consistent themes in the long range. See if they can add up over time. Right? If we consistently see models keep throwing a storm in the time frame like they've been doing, then I think it's something to keep an eye on. If they keep saying it's this time frame and keep pushing it back, then that would be a little bit concerning. But we'll keep an eye on this. December, there could be like multiple, right? Even if you miss one, there could be multiple to keep an eye out. Keep an eye on out here. But that would be cool, wouldn't it? Big old snowstorm. Oh, it would do so well too because it would just slide out. That reminds me of December 1720. Not the same thing, but reminds me of it. Actually, freakishly reminds me of it. That's a little scary, actually, for something so long range. But December 17th, 2020, for reference, was a 4-foot Binghamton to Maine ban. But let's check on the Jeffs. But actually, I want to see this setup for here. See if we've had any trend. No, let's go out to North America here. That's what you love to see. So even though your western ridge is really not greatly placed, right? You see how it kind of cuts. You have high pressure out ahead of it first, right? So it kind of traps the system here, and you have cold air in place, and you drop something in, and there you go. Right, the western, you want to be continue to be vertical with your western ridge. Ideally, you can even place this a little bit further east. I mean, this is semantics. It would depend on the setup. It would really depend on the setup you get. But that's what you want to see. You want to see a trough getting close to neutral, right? It's still positive. And it's kind of after too. So a trough getting close to neutral before it goes off the eastern seaboard. We'll see how this has trended. Has it gone back and forth or what? A little bit of a variation from run to run, but you can see increase in ridging over the past couple days out here and stretching down to here. And what now this does is it prevents something from sliding off completely and allows you to amplify. Now you just remember, you don't want to do too much of a good thing. Otherwise, you might cut too much and then it would be like some sort of front end thump and mix. And ideally, you would love to convert a big one. This is one of those patterns where like you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So be present in the moment and don't just assume you're going to get something else. Try to convert now. So let's go to Jeff's. Yeah, that's a good look. I prefer to, see how we're backing. So like you can kind of play a little bit around too. If you back off the western ridging and we're having a problem of being suppressed too much, then that's better. But ideally, we don't. It's not like we back off a lot, but let's get more vertical with our western ridging in the long range. I love this being here. We have a negative NAO in place, even though it's eastern base. It's going to help still work versus like broad troughing being all the way throughout here. This will help prevent more storms from sliding out, and hopefully slowing down and stopping and allowing us to get a bigger snowstorm. See where the EPS was today. All right, there's your clipper system moving off. See how this starts to slow too here? All right, so this gives you an opportunity. This even makes me a little bit more excited about this time frame. Your ridging increases out here in the North Atlantic, out towards the Azores Islands, and gives you an opportunity to slow down whatever comes off the coast here and throw it back off the Atlantic with cold air in place. So there's an opportunity for something more to happen in this time frame too, even though it's just a clipper. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If we see consistency in this over the next couple days or so, then maybe we can start tracking. But we got to get a little bit closer and kind of continued consistency, even though it's been pretty good. And then as we get here, ooh, that is interesting, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good look. Vertical, a little bit too far east. You would like your trough to be just a little bit farther west, but this ridging here, our negative NAO in place, that's a good spot. If we can continue to push this just a little bit further west, that would be golden, right? And kind of separate the troughs maybe too, if we can. Or you got to bring this all the way down, way back here, and that'd be a drastic change, which I doubt. Given still we're far, but not ridiculous. We're not like 300 plus. So, and there's a little bit more consistency developing with this. But if we compare this to 0Z, and then actually just go to 12Z yesterday. And 0Z here, it's more prominent blocking up here with pretty good placement of a western ridge. And Euro blocking as well up in the North Atlantic. So that's why I continue to stay, kind of optimistic about at some point in this pattern converting. But you got to be patient. And again, there's no guarantees. You may not hit. You may miss backyard. Just may miss all of these, and you'll have to get up the next morning and do what you do. Just how it goes. But December 4th and 5th, and then December like 7th to 9th. I would keep an eye on those two time frames. Let's check in on the euro here. Maybe maybe a euro bomb. We'll see. Oh man, it really took off this. Consistently, the euro has been bringing the polar vortex down and suppressing everything on a lot of these runs. So And it kind of does the same here. Maybe it does something after, but it'd be a tough look. So yeah. That take one last look at radar. Why is current radar not available? There we go. See how we're filling in here. And there you go. Everything's kind of filling in here. It's pretty widespread, so we'll see how this. I'm in Phoenix, so no worries and sunny for Thanksgiving Day. Oh, you're lucky. I'd so much rather have sunny and warm compared to rain or cold rain, Gregory. So much more. Appreciate you stopping it. So I don't know. I'll cover. I don't cover Phoenix exclusively, but or really much at all. But when interesting weather happens to Phoenix, I'll let you know. Phoenix stays dry and warm though, for the most part. So I was out here this summer, Vegas and Grand Canyon. So that was cool. Very very hot and dry. I actually didn't think it was too bad because it's not as humid out there. It makes a difference, but it feels like you're walking into like a hot fan, a hot dry fan. That's what it feels like. So yeah, so this kind of takes over. Let's check in on those temperatures one last time, just because I'm curious. I'm going to be doing it anyway, so might as well do it on stream. But yeah, Gregory, hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving. Healthy Thanksgiving, too. Come on. It's all right. We checked in almost a couple hours ago now. So some of these places warming a little bit, but some holding as well. Right, 28s and 29. So these people are probably they're going to be able to cash in on some snow. They're holding in on the cold air. Right, and you'll be able to be 35, 36 and still snow as well. It should be noted. So if we a snow line, maybe a rain snow line, we can kind of try to give it an attempt here, maybe something. Right, and then some of the lower elevated areas within here maybe mix a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. So we'll see how this progresses. I'll try to screenshot from the stream that snow map, and for everybody, if you don't mind, if you made it this far, leaving a like on the stream and consider subscribing. We're going to keep streaming a lot this winter whenever there's interesting weather. Right now we have cold weather coming in December, so it's very very interesting in my opinion because we got a lot of opportunities for something down the line at least. So when you have cold air, so you gotta closely monitor that moves through because a chance versus when you're warmer. So we'll keep going as long as I can. And yeah, so I appreciate everybody. Um, we went a little bit longer tonight, but it's not a worry. We had like a lot of different things to cover, so we won't have to cover Thanksgiving, and we kind of makeshift a snowfall map, so we won't have to do that um, tomorrow night. We'll just go exclusively lake effect and pattern. So thanks everybody. Leave a like. Love you all.